Hello everybody, my name is Claudia and I usually don't post content about getting a passport, but today I think it would be very insightful for me to share this with you guys because I haven't seen anybody talk about getting a passport in a day and getting a passport for a minor and the whole process of doing it. So you guys, I live in Naples, Florida, and I was traveling within 2 weeks internationally or like going on a cruise, and I needed a passport for my son. To preface this, I've done this myself before as well as an adult, so I can give you like two different viewpoints of how this went. I did this in like 2014, I think, or 15, but the process was very similar. It was just in a different building. So since I live in Naples, Florida, my passport agency office is in Miami. So to get this appointment, when you do research, right, they will tell you that you cannot book an appointment unless it is 14 days before your date of departure. So I did call the passport agency and I asked them and I said, okay, hey, when is the day that I can call in to book an appointment? They told me a certain date and it was exactly 14 days before I left, and I waited for that date. Be sure to start calling at like 7:55. The lines open at like 8 a.m. Because you will probably get the busy signal for the first 10 minutes of you calling. I tried calling twice. I was pretty lucky. I got in maybe after 10 attempts. The first time it was like 15 times I called, and you'll get the busy signal, or you'll get in and it won't connect you to a representative. So it's that bad, you guys. You have to play phone games, but rest assured, somebody will pick up the phone. You'll get through. Just keep trying. They are busy. I decided to do this because I heard that regular passports were 9 to 13 weeks, even if you would expedite them or use second party people to do this for you, it's still taking up to 6 to 9 weeks or something like that, or even longer. And this is information I got on the actual government website, right? So I was like, okay, we're traveling. I'm going to try to do this because traveling internationally, especially with a minor, when it's only one parent going, and there's other things like if you have the same last name as your child, there's a difference between you traveling with them. At least where I was going on the website, it said if you don't have the same last name, you have to have a passport for the child. So just make sure you're double and triple checking what you need, because small side note, when I went on the cruise, there was a lot of people sitting in immigration and they thought they had everything they needed and they got turned around and were not allowed to go to the Bahamas. So back to the passports. So on that day I called and the appointment booking, actually, like, be prepared to be on the phone for about 10 minutes because they give you like a specialty pin. You have to give them all the information about the person applying for a passport, or if it's two people, you have to do two separate bookings for that. You have to provide the person's name, address, all of that. They will ask for your email address. They will make sure to send you all the information, and within the email, it will give you your time of your appointment, what to bring to your appointment, the proper forms, and things like that. So I made the appointment, and I made it very early. I made it 7 a.m. Okay. I will tell you why that's important here in a second. So once I have the appointment, it was all set. They sent me an email. I went over everything. Everything was good. 2 or 3 days before the appointment, they called me to confirm via phone that I'm coming. So I picked up the phone, and you have to confirm with one. Make sure you get to that phone call if you can, because that tells them that you're coming and that they're not going to give out extra appointments, I would say. So I did that. I showed up in Miami, and if you're going to the Miami office, they will not tell you where it is. It is on the bottom floor, and there will be a line of people standing outside. Again, I can only speak about Miami. The immigration office, when I went in 2014 or 15, was upstairs on the 3rd floor. And the signage is still there that says 3rd floor immigration. If you walk in there, there's a ghost town. It's like an abandoned building. It's kind of scary. The immigration office is in Miami. It's in a Omni business building with a huge parking garage. The Hilton Hotel is there, but it's literally on the bottom floor, and you will see people lining up. Okay. The reason I tell you that I picked 7 is because I think that I was trying to get the passport that day, and I didn't know if I had to work later on in the day. But I'm glad I got 7 a.m. because if you need the passport that day, they will give it to you that day, right? And they close the office at 2 p.m. So let me continue. I was there at like 6:37. The first thing that you do is they check outside. They won't let you in unless you have an appointment. So you show them that email. You can print it out, or you can show them your phone. They'll check that you're supposed to be in the building. You go in, you go upstairs to the new office, wherever they have it at. And you are let in to this room. You go through like a metal detector. It's safe. And then you bring all your documents. So you bring the old passport, you bring the form. Make sure you are filling out the form fully. You will not have to have time really to fill anything out. You do, there's like a thing there with pens, but then you're getting skipped in line by like the 100 people that are behind you, right? So make sure your form that you need is filled out, and you have your payment ready. And all the documents that you need, make sure you have. There will be people coming around telling you what you need to have and have it like ready to literally give to the people. Don't be shuffling around when you get there. Have it all stacked up. They're very serious and they're very fast. So you wait in this line, and then you see a clerk. The clerk goes over everything and make sure you have the picture, you have the form, whatever documents you need. Like I went to get a passport for a minor, and I needed permission from the other party, so I had to have like a certified notarized copy of the other party, and then I had to have my own paperwork, and I had to give it to them together. So my situation was different, my form was different, and it was a different way to do it. So they made sure that everything aligned and matched, and then I was able to get a number because everything was good, and they said that, okay, I have everything I need. And then they had me sit down for about 20 minutes. And then they gave me my paperwork. 20 minutes later, I saw a different clerk. They like made sure it was my son. They made sure I was the mother, birth certificate, everything, photo, all the documents. My payment was $210. This encompassed everything. Getting the passport that day, whatever expedited fee, and the passport card we got. So again, make sure all the paperwork matches and you're ready to go. So after that took about 5 minutes. That was it. So they gave me a slip, they gave me a receipt, and then they gave me a slip with a time to come back. A little extra information about my situation. They had me come in the day before my travel. So I was traveling on Friday, and they had me come in on Thursday. So the stamp on our paperwork said same day. So that's why I had to come back the same day later on in the day. That's why I think it's important to come early if you want to get your passport that same day. Because when I came in at 7, they processed me by 8. I came back at 1 p.m. and I got my passport at 3:30. Okay, so I was still there pretty much the whole day. But I did get the passport that day. When I went in 2014 for myself, I went in, I think it was like a week before my travel date, because they had an available appointment. I guess this time around, I did call 2 weeks ahead, but they didn't have an appointment until the day before, right? So I got the passport the same day. When I did it myself for me, 2014, they expedited the passport to me, and I had it in 48 hours. So it came to my house within 2 days in like an envelope. So they do that as well. So my point with having an appointment at 7 versus, let's say you have an appointment at 10 and you are traveling the next day, you never know if they're gonna ask you to come the next day, right? Because I've heard people that were there the day before, they were told to come in later in the afternoon, and then they're like, nope, come here first thing in the morning and it'll be ready. So I think it's more beneficial, or maybe not, I don't know, to do it earlier in the day, so you're gonna be processed first rather than coming in at like 10 or 11 whenever they have appointments, and then not being processed until the next morning. We were staying in Miami, but like some people, like maybe they can't stay in Miami, you know what I mean? Maybe you have plans the next morning, or maybe your plane's leaving really early, or your cruise is leaving, whatever it is, you know? So I think it's better to get the earlier appointments, because you get there and you don't have like 300 people in front of you. And that's what they said. That's what the security guys said. They're like, yeah, if you're here first, like you're the one getting processed first. So yeah, I don't know if that helps anybody, but that's my experience. So yeah, we were told to come back at 1, and they're like, oh, you don't have to bring your son, this and that. And I brought him anyway. And then like when we got the passport finally, they were looking at him and they were making sure it's him. So I'm like, why would you tell me not to bring him if it's his passport? So just make sure everybody's there, because they're very serious. When you walk in at 1, you can't leave. If you leave, you can't come back. I've seen cases. I've seen people try to get back in. They're like, oh, I had an emergency, whatever. And it's a federal building. They don't play. They're like, no, not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen, right? So, pretty much we got there at 1, and then we're sitting there for like 2.5 hours with 200 people sitting there waiting for your name to be called. So until your name is called, you can't leave, and if you leave, you don't get your passport that day. So we only had to wait 2.5 hours. I heard there were some people that wait there until 6, and I was like, okay, the government building close at 2, so why are people here till 6? But I guess, you know, if you get there at 10 or something, they don't process you until like later on in the night. So I hope this was helpful, you guys. If you have any questions, leave a comment down below. I just wanted to help you guys out, because I know it's very tough to get passports nowadays, meaning it takes forever, or it's just a process on its own, you know, that's kind of complicated. So I hope this was helpful for you guys. I hope you guys have a great day and safe travels.